Hey guys, it's Sithlore. Today I wanted to talk about Spirit Walk, which in my opinion is one of the two strongest skills available to the Witch Doctor, the other one being the Gargantuan. So what Spirit Walk allows you to do is basically it's the same type of skill as Lingering Fog, which is extremely well known in the Diablo community as the strongest immunity skill. Well, I think Spirit Walk is just as effective, if not more effective, because of the fact that it lasts for 2 seconds. And so it essentially allows you to be immune for 2 seconds and get rid of any trouble that you need to, while also increasing your movement speed. Now this is the perfect example of when you want to use that spell. Is not only does it allow you to get away from them, but if any of them are about to explode, then at the same time you're able to ignore the damage. And so let's take a look at the rune choices. The first rune choice is Jaunt, which is the most popular rune choice, as it allows for 3 seconds of immunity rather than just the normal 2. So for the 3 seconds, you can just run around in circles and not really have to worry about too much. So the main time that I utilize this skill, I use it for 2 reasons. The first was in order for survivability. If I'm dealing with a situation like this and I need to just get away from them, then it allows me to do that. The other thing that I'll use it for is if we're dealing specifically with an elite pack, then if I see a health globe on the ground, then what I'll do is I'll initiate Spirit Walk just like this, grab the health globes, and then come back. And so that's the other big use that I find for Spirit Walk. So overall, like I said, this is an ability that I think every Witch Doctor needs to have. It's a mandatory skill if you're playing hardcore, but even in softcore, there's so many uses for it that I think you're crazy if you decide to go with the spell other than this one on your toolbar. So let's go back to town and we'll check out some of the other runes. So the next rune, Honored Guest, increases your mana regeneration. So if you have a mana intensive build, then again, another incredible skill. Let me empty out my mana pool, and so you can see what my normal mana regeneration is like. Well, when casting Spirit Walk, you can see that it basically doubles or triples. And so again, a great skill. Not only do you get the Spirit Walk from the safety perspective and being able to get out of trouble, but at the same time regenerates 30% of your mana pool while you use it, because as I indicated, it lasts for 2 seconds and you gain 15% per second. Also, this scales really well because of the fact that it's percent of mana rather than total mana, or a set amount of mana. So even if you have 1,000 mana rather than 740 that I've got, it's still extremely beneficial. Okay, now that these guys are done, the next rune choice is an offensive rune choice. And so when Spirit Walk ends, then it deals 310% weapon damage to an area close by your body. So let's find somewhere where there's a couple enemies. And so as my Spirit Walk ended, you could see that it did a fair amount of damage there. I'm not a fan of this rune choice because, as I said, what I normally use this for is to get out of trouble, whereas in this case, Spirit Walk ends while you're in the middle of battle. And the other challenge or thing that I don't like about it is if you're using it for offensive purposes, if you actually need it for defensive purposes, it may be on cooldown. So it's a strong skill, but it's against my playstyle. The next one is another offensive rune, Severance. The difference between this one and the other one is this one you can use for defensive purposes, but it deals 225% weapon damage per second. The problem with this, if you want to call it a problem, is that the skill ticks very quickly and a number of times. So you need to be basically in constant contact in order to deal a decent amount of damage. So I find the previous rune a much better offensive rune, but like I said, the only advantage to this one is if you want to do just a little bit of damage while going in and out like this, then that will provide some damage without being in the middle of battle when Spirit Walk ends. The final one is the healing rune associated with it. And so Healing Journey heals you for 7% of your life per second. So it's going to restore 14% of your life as a result of using this. And so if you're using it truly for the defensive purposes like I do, then this is a great rune choice. Because normally, when you're going to be using Spirit Walk, it's because you've been encountering a tough battle. You may have lost life, but there's a couple of other things that I want to mention really quickly as far as when Healing Journey is really effective against reflex damage packs. So not only are you not taking damage, but you're healing yourself. The reflex damage could cause you to end your Spirit Walk, depending on how much damage you're dealing or no longer reflecting. But more importantly, the Spirit Walk in general is great at breaking any CCs. So if you're frozen, if you're jailed, any of those type of things, then Spirit Walk will break those, and you can move freely. So, anyways, like I said, this is an incredible spell, one that I recommend any witch doctor utilizes. Thanks for watching. Any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks, guys.